What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today is a very special day. We are celebrating 10,000 subscribers, and I am bringing to you the only seafood boil recipe you will ever need. Let's get started. Here we have some smoked andouille sausage along with some kielbasa. I like putting a couple different sausages in my seafood boil just to switch it up, add a little bit of different flavor. Red potatoes and corn. We're going to start by cutting our sausage into thirds. You want it to be bite-sized pieces, like so. Again, use whatever sausage you like. Smoked andouille sausage is pretty common in seafood boils, but use whatever sausage is your favorite. Next, you want to cut your potatoes in half. You can use russet potatoes, Yukon Gold. I like red potatoes. Really doesn't matter. You want them to be single serving sizes as well. And then just break your corn in half like Hercules. There you have it. We got some sausage, potatoes, and corn ready to go. Next, go ahead and cut your lemons in half. I'm using about 4 lemons for this recipe. We're gonna have 1 onion in our seafood boil. So today I'm showing you a couple different preparations for your seafood boil. For those of you that actually want to boil your seafood, and those of you that want to put it in a foil pan, and that is basically steaming the seafood. We're covering both. No matter which way you choose, you do want to sear your sausage a little bit. This helps render a little bit of the fat and start the foundation of flavor for the rest of the dish. There we go. See all that beautiful fond at the bottom? We're going in with some chicken stock. You can use water if you don't have chicken stock, no big deal. Chicken stock just adds a little bit more flavor, but water and all the seasoning we're going to add will be just fine. And about 6 to 8 cans of beer. Make sure you use a mild beer, something cheap. No need to get crazy and use like an IPA or anything like that. I'm going with Budweiser because it was on sale, and it's a pretty mild beer. Going in with that onion, those lemons that we showed you earlier. The key here is just to build as much flavor in that broth as possible. A handful of bay leaves, some thyme, and a seafood boil bag. You can use 1 to 2 of those boil bags depending on how spicy you want it to be. Here's one of my favorite ingredients, the lobster base. I'm going in with about 2 tablespoons of that. And here is the special sauce. We're starting with 4 sticks of Kerrygold butter. While we're waiting for that boil to come up to a boil, we're gonna make our sauce. 4 sticks of butter, about 1.5 tablespoons of that lobster base, 1 tablespoon of roasted garlic base. If you can't find that, just use garlic paste. That's fine as well. A couple tablespoons of minced garlic. Depending on how much you like garlic, you can add a little bit more. A teaspoon or so of lemon pepper. Most of the seasoning is going to be to taste, so adjust it based on your flavor profile. 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. Whatever your favorite hot sauce will work just fine. Some smoked paprika. A couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. A few dashes of cayenne pepper just to kick up the heat. Some adobo seasoning. This is optional, but it's delicious and it was in the pantry, so I said, why not? The star of the show, Old Bay. A good, generous serving of that. Taste as you go and adjust the seasoning as needed. The juice of half of a lemon. Use your other hand just to make sure you don't get any seeds in your sauce. A tablespoon of white sugar, just to balance things out. And a half a can to a whole can of beer, depending on how much sauce you're making. I went ahead and used about a whole can for this because we made a shitload of seafood. And a tablespoon of brown sugar. Brown sugar has more molasses in it, which is going to help thicken the sauce a bit and give it a nice, deep, delicious looking color. And that's it for that sauce. Set it to the side and we'll use it later. Our pot is coming up to a boil. You want to check your potatoes. Regardless of which option you choose, the boil or the steam method, you want to pre-cook your potatoes. Now we're going in with some minced garlic, some apple cider vinegar, lemon pepper, of course, Old Bay, a couple tablespoons of brown sugar. Again, just to balance everything out. There's a lot of spice going on in this dish. That sugar kind of mellows things out a bit. Doesn't necessarily make it sweet though. The key is to taste as you go and adjust the flavor profile as needed. Mix everything up, give it a taste. Fish out those boil bags. They've done their job at this point. And of course, a big stick of Kerrygold grass-fed butter. Now we're on to our foil pan option. So you want one of those really large foil pans, depending on how much seafood you're making. Go in with some sliced lemon, that sausage that we seared a bit in the pot, and then add your seafood. Whatever you're using is just fine. Crab legs and shrimp. I added some lobster tails and some lobster claws because they were on sale, and it's a celebration. So we went ahead and loaded up that foil pan, add your shrimp. Then you want to add 2 sticks of butter throughout the foil pan so that the butter melts down and coats the seafood nicely. Adding in some mussels. This option is more practical for a lot of people if you don't have a big pot to do a seafood boil. This is, a lot of people call this a seafood boil, but it's really steaming the seafood. Still comes out super delicious. Adding in my corn. Our potatoes are pre-cooked with this option so that they're nice and tender. Going in with 1 can of cheap beer. No offense to Budweiser fans. There we go. And then we're going to season this up. Going in with some adobo seasoning. That's optional. Some lemon pepper. Really, you can use whatever seasonings you like here. I like lemon pepper, Creole or Cajun seasoning, Old Bay, something to give it a little bit of heat. Make sure everything is coated nicely. And then we're going to use that special sauce and just drizzle it evenly over the seafood. That's going to impart a ton of flavor into this dish. And then we'll coat it one more time at the end. There we go. Just use your eyes. You want to use all 5 senses when you're cooking. So use your eyes and make sure that it looks like everything is coated nicely. Cover it in foil, pop it in a 400-degree oven for about 30 to 40 minutes or until the seafood is cooked through. Now we're back to our boil for the folks that want to go with that method. Add in your sausage and your corn. The potatoes are already nice and tender. Now we're going to add in all of our seafood, lobster tails, lobster claws, and the crab legs. You want to save the shrimp for a little bit later because they cook pretty quick. This is going to boil for about 10 to 12 minutes before we add in the shrimp and the mussels. Just stuff it on in there. Make sure your crab legs are clean and partially defrosted. That's how we're looking when we're just about done. At the very end, we're going to add those mussels because those cook up in about 3 to 4 minutes. Once they open, as you see there, they are done. I like to grab a crab leg and taste it, make sure everything is cooked perfectly. Now we're on to one of the more popular methods right now, which is the seafood boil bag. Once your seafood is cooked, you can serve it up in this boil bag. Go ahead and place it in a bowl and fill it up with your seafood. Very convenient way to serve this dish. Looks nice and it's easier cleanup for sure. Season everything up and then add that special sauce. Lots of it. There you have it. Who wants one? All right, now for the final serving preparation. We're gonna put it all on a platter, stack it up nicely, season it generously with some Old Bay seasoning. Make sure every little piece of seafood is coated nicely. And then I'm just gonna drizzle the sauce. I'm gonna give it a moment of silence so you guys can take this in. This is food porn. That's another good tip right there. You see that lobster tail is cut in half. That makes it easier to pick out and eat, and it helps absorb a lot of the flavor from the sauce. Garnish with a little parsley just to brighten things up. And my God, is that a good seafood platter. That sauce is special, guys. Can't wait for you guys to try it. Put out some newspaper or butcher paper, whatever you got for an easier cleanup.
10,000 subscriber celebration. I appreciate you guys' support. Have a little champagne in your honor. Hope you guys enjoy the seafood boil. Refreshing.
There you have it, guys. That's the seafood boil recipe. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the 10,000 plus subscribers. We're actually almost at 12 by now. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, enable notifications, and as always, thank you for your support.